Friends Bond, Chapter 1. We're ready. The warehouse didn't look like much from the outside. A sagging gray slab of concrete, rusted gate, windows so filthy they reflected nothing back but darkness. The kind of place people crossed the street to avoid. The kind of place screams went to die. Inside, sweat hit the air like fog. Wump staggered back, boots scraping against the cracked cement, lungs burning like he'd swallowed fire. His knuckles were split open again. Blood slicked his palms, dripping to the floor in slow, steady drops. Across from him, Walter didn't slow, didn't blink. He came in fast, too fast, feet light, shoulders squared, eyes locked in with a focus that felt unnatural. Walter launched forward with a jumping kick, the sole of his shoe passing inches from Wump's face. Hump barely leaned back in time. "Damn, Walter," Wump gasped, bending forward with his hands on his knees. "You giving zero fucks about my life right now." Walter landed clean and rolled his shoulders, breathing controlled, precise. "Nah," he said calmly. "Just don't feel like carrying your ass to the hospital again." Wump straightened slowly, wincing as his ribs screamed back at him. "My last fight almost killed me," he muttered. "You saw that." Walter's jaw tightened. "Yeah," he said, "and that's why we're here." Wump wiped blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. His pulse still hadn't slowed. Something about that last fight, about the way those men laughed when he hit them, still crawled under his skin. "They weren't normal," Wump said quietly. Walter paused. "What?" "The dudes I fought," Wump continued. "4 of them. I hit one with everything I had. Didn't even flinch. Just smiled at me like I was a joke." Walter stared at him. "You saying they were high?" "No," Wump shook his head. "I'm saying they were different." The warehouse door slammed open. "Yo, what the fuck?" Richie's voice echoed off the walls. "Y'all really started without us?" Richie stepped inside grinning, already peeling his hoodie off. Greg followed, laughing, hands shoved into his pockets like this was just another night. Before Wump could answer, Richie moved. Fast. Too fast. He sprinted forward and leapt, spinning midair, legs snapping outward in a double roundhouse. One foot cracked into Walter's jaw. The other slammed into the side of Wump's head. White exploded behind Wump's eyes. He hit the floor hard, head ringing, a hot knot swelling near his temple. "Serves you right?" Greg laughed, clutching his stomach. "Starting without us and shit." Walter wiped blood from his lip, rolling his jaw. "Damn, Richie," he snapped. "You trying to knock teeth loose?" Richie landed and shadow boxed, shadow smiling. "Train how you fight," he said. "Fight how you survive." Wump pushed himself up slowly, touching the side of his head. "They were stronger than normal," he said again. Louder this time. "Way stronger. I could have died." Richie snorted. "Man, you just weak." "They laughed at me," Wump said, "like I wasn't even there." Greg's laughter faded. "Laughed?" "Yeah," Wump said, "like they knew something I didn't." For a second, the warehouse went quiet except for the hum of a flickering light overhead. Walter broke it. "Enough talk," he said. "Let's go." They trained for hours. Punches, kicks, throws, grappling until muscles failed and lungs felt ready to collapse. Every hit landed harder than the last. Every block came quicker. It was brutal, ugly, personal. Blood stained the floor. By the time they stopped, all 4 were soaked in sweat, bruised, and breathing like they'd just crawled out of hell. None of them noticed what was happening, not the way their timing synced without speaking, not the way Walter dodged blows before they came, not the way Richie hit harder the more damage he took, not the way Wump stayed on his feet when he shouldn't have, and not the way Greg watched it all with wide, thoughtful eyes. Walter's condo felt too quiet when they got back, too clean. The place still smelled like his parents'. Faint cologne, old furniture polish. Rooms stayed closed. Lights stayed off, like the house was holding its breath. They dropped onto couches and chairs, groaning. The TV was already on. Uncle Earl sat in his usual spot, muttering at the screen, one hand clutching a police scanner like a lifeline. "World's burning," Earl rasped, "and they pretend it ain't." Breaking news filled the room. Death, rape, kidnappings, another cop shooting another black man. Richie stood, fists clenched. "Why aren't we doing something?" he snapped. "Why are we just watching this shit?" "We're not ready," Wump said. Walter nodded. "Not yet." Greg shrugged. "Still alive, though." Richie turned on them, eyes blazing. "Then what the fuck we trained for?" The anchor's voice cut through the tension. "Breaking news. Police are currently in pursuit of a white van suspected in the kidnapping of 8 elementary school girls." Richie didn't hesitate. He yanked the TV cord from the wall. The screen went black. Silence followed. Richie grabbed his dirt bike keys. Hump was already moving. Outside, engines roared to life. Metal vibrated beneath them. The bikes snarled like caged animals, eager to be let loose. Richie shot forward the moment the garage door lifted, tires screaming against the pavement. Hump followed. The night swallowed them whole. They didn't know it yet, but the bond had already